Europe enters a double-dip recession. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee and let's have a look at what's happening in Europe as they're entering a double-dip recession. We have the latest data here from Trading Economics. You can find it on the web and we can see, hang on, I'll just get my highlighter, we can see that they had their recession earlier in the year. Now, depending on the definition of a recession, different people have different definitions, but pretty much 2 quarters of negative GDP growth is generally accepted. So we've had 2 quarters. Boom, it shot right up over 10% growth. Europe is back, baby. And then, well, now we've had 2 quarters of negative growth. So now they've entered a double-dip recession. Now the question is, will it keep going down or will it bounce back up or will it just start meandering over one side? So what is a double-dip recession? We can see here, you can have a look. It's where essentially you have a recession and then it dips back down again to another one. This is from Investopedia. A double-dip recession is when a recession is followed by a short-lived recovery and another recession. Pretty simple. A double-dip recession can be caused due to a variety of reasons and involve prolonged unemployment and low GDP. The last double-dip recession in the United States occurred during the early 1980s. So, the euro area shrank 0.6% on quarter in the June-March 2021, slightly less than a forecast of 0.7. So they're doing better. They're doing better. The bloc entered a double-dip recession in the first quarter as the pandemic lockdowns continued to hammer the services industries. Among the bloc's biggest economies, Germany, Italy, and Spain fell back into contraction territory, while France's economy returned to growth as the government delayed the imposition of lockdown measures. Year on year, the GDP dropped 1.8% in the first quarter, easing from a 4.9% slump in the previous 3 months. And we can see here the 0.7% decrease followed by a 0.6%. So they're doing better than anticipated. Boy, Europe has been not growing that much for a while, hasn't it? But there you go. Look at that 11% fall and 12.5% increase, everyone. So let's have a look at how the media are reporting on this. This is from Yahoo. So the Eurozone enters a double-dip recession, but better days are ahead, everyone. Better days ahead. So the Eurozone fell into a second recession in less than a year in the first quarter, data showed on Friday, as slow vaccinations and pandemic lockdowns stopped a rebound. The 0.6% contraction was in stark contrast to the US, where the economy roared forward in the same period, posting annualized growth of 6.4%. China has also turned the corner with the pandemic, with a 18.3% explosion in gross domestic product growth on an annual basis. And this is what we here in Australia are counting our hopes on, that the trade tensions with China will ease and that they will help support us once again, like the GFC, dragging us up. Europe has been hit hard by a second and third wave of the pandemic, with multiple attempts to reopen the economy cut short by new outbreaks. And we've got relatives in Europe who are, well, we're just saying that the lockdowns are there. It's a huge contrast to how we have it here in Australia, particularly in Brisbane. I mean, you wouldn't even notice it. But more recent data has given Europeans confidence that the recession will be short-lived, with surveys showing that manufacturing is now booming. While late out of the starting block, the Eurozone is set for its start to the pandemic rebound, said Bert Collian, senior economist at ING. And with the vaccination campaign finally getting into swing, pent-up demand is expected to follow as Europeans begin to spend more in shops, at reopened restaurants and on tourism. The EU's slow-moving recovery plan is also expected to finally get on track, giving a much-needed boost to southern countries crushed by the pandemic, such as Italy or Spain. Andrew Cunningham of Capital Economics said the outlook was fast improving, with imminent lifting of restrictions in Europe's biggest countries. However, after Friday's data, the economy was still 5.5% below its pre-crisis peak, which leaves Europe trailing well behind the US, where GDP is nearly back to that level, he added. Germany was the major drag on growth in January to the March period, with exports unable to overcome a steep drop in demand by discouraged consumers, analysts say. The EU's largest economy shrank by 1.7% in the first quarter as rising coronavirus infections forced shutdowns to be extended, performing worse than the 1.5% contraction predicted by analysts surveyed by FactSet. Portugal, which suffered heavily from a third wave of the pandemic, saw a drop of 3.3% in its GDP. After imposing a more severe lockdown than most other countries at the end of 2020, France was one of the few countries that buckled the negative trend and posted a 0.4% increase. The Eurozone's consumer prices, meanwhile, rose in April by 1.6%, moving closer to the European Central Bank's target of 2%. The rise in prices, again largely fueled by energy costs, came after 5 months of inflation in negative territory at the end of 2020 and a gradual turnaround earlier this year. But core inflation, which strips out volatile components such as energy or food, actually dipped in April, meaning demand is not yet fully recharging the economy. Jobs have largely been spared the worst of the ravages of the crisis that were initially feared when the pandemic froze the global economy in early 2020. Eurostat said Eurozone unemployment dipped to 8.1% in the March, though there was 1% more than a year before. EU-wide unemployment slipped to 7.3% in March. So, as you can see, well, Europe has entered a double-dip recession, and, well, people aren't getting out there and spending as much as has been anticipated. Energy is getting more expensive, which isn't surprising considering how much energy Germany now has to import. Maybe shutting down all those coal mines wasn't the smartest thing to do, but that's, kind of another topic. So what are the solutions and lessons that we can take from this? Well, increasing financial literacy is one, and that's always one, and just, preparing for it, guys. Preparing for a continued recession, having multiple income streams, paying down your debt, being in a good, healthy position. If you're free from debt, well, in many ways, you can also be politically free. And I'd push people towards a bit of an understanding of the Austrian school, just having a look at that. Because what's interesting, the EU, they're flooding the market. But we're not seeing that inflation, are we? Maybe that has to be a psychological process where people will get out there and spend. We'll have to see. As always, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. If you're a fan and want to support the content I create here, you can join us on YouTube or Patreon. You can sign up for SelfWealth or Stake if you want to help us with our share trading, Independent Reserve if you want to help us with the crypto trading. You can use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, or AussieBroadband, buy merch from Teespring or HeiseSays, or support us using GoldPass or PayPal. Take care, guys. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.